the show delves into late night this year, which was fascinating for me because there are things that you cite in the show that I've lived through. And so I'll get a little bit of PTSD from watching it, but it's also really funny and apt, like getting notes, or this is what we heard about, in the early days of my late night show, research and what are people saying and what do we need to try and adjust. And it was all stuff that just felt impossible.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of reliving it a little bit through your show, but you guys are doing a very good job of hitting a bunch of the nerves, which means you're getting it right.
That's good. That's good. I mean, obviously, like we talk about you and your shows a lot, and we did a lot this season making it, and we tried to get it right, And, and just writing the show about making the show was so stressful and so hard. I'm like, I didn't do 5 shows a week and have to do monologue jokes.
Right.
And yet I viscerally, I felt the pressure of that. It's crazy.
There's a great moment where Deborah Vance is trying out, she's meeting the new writers for the first time and they're going around the room. And there's people are throwing out funny ideas. And then there's one writer who's new, who's just like, yeah. And then he says something that's not that funny. And
then she farts.
Yeah. And then she farts. Because she farts. Which, by the way,
which is funny.
It's very funny.
It's funny.
And
sorry.
I would say head writer.
Yeah.
Right away.
He's promoted.
Yeah.
The fart guy's promoted.
Yeah. Get fart guy back. But anyway, he does it twice, and you see Gene Smart notice it, and then Gene Smart writes on a piece of paper and slides it over to Hannah, and it says "Riff Killer," which is such a great because. It's a little inside baseball, but we call it riffing, which is people are in a room, they're coming up with good ideas, riffing, and then she just slides across riff killer because we've all been in a room where things are cooking, and then one person in the room is like, yeah, and then maybe it's George W. Bush. And everyone has to reset. No one wants to be a dick.
Yeah, exactly.
And we all go,
Eduardo's pointing at Blay.
Oh, Blay.
It's me.
Okay, but
You don't need to pretend. I'm right here. You don't need to just talk about some people are riff killers.
He thought it was a compliment, so he got it tattooed. He got riff killer
on your lower
tattooed
back.
on his lower back.
That's nice. That's nice.
Riff killer. But anyway, I love that moment. And then I have to bring this up, which is because I just watched it last night. There's a scene where this killed me. It's a very funny joke. And nonsensical, but Gene Smart, Deborah has stolen is trying to steal a guest away who would have been on Kimmel, and Kimmel's confronting her and saying, look, I get this guest, you don't get this guest. She's trying to get Kristen Bell on her show, and Jimmy Kimmel confronts her and says, you don't get Kristen Bell because she always does my show. She's been doing, I got sort of possession of having her as a guest after Conan died. And you know what I loved about it is that it said, with no one questions it, it's just like, since Conan died, I get her after Conan died. And it's just like, that's understood, and I'm laughing because no one questions it.
But in that universe, you're dead and you can never be on that show except in flashbacks.
Oh, no, don't say that.
No.
We definitely want you on the show. We do.
I think we've settled that score.
No.
No, I'm kidding. But it was so funny to me. It's such a funny... I always like jokes that, upon examination, they make me laugh on a guttural level, but they also don't make sense.
It makes no sense.
And he says it the way we all know that Charles Lindbergh is dead. It was so funny. It was such a great moment.
Yeah.
I have to give
joke.
him credit because, that was a Jimmy Kimmel improv line.
Listen.
Wow.
So I did not write that line.
That's great.
Let me write that down.
Okay.
He will be repaid in kind. I can't wait to mispronounce his name. Jamais
Kamal. Jamais.
Lucia, have you met Jamais?
So you're very much alive in our universe.
Oh, well, thank you.
And I do mean it. I want to say it here. We would love to have you on the show.
Oh, I would.
Ooh.
We would
either.
absolutely love it. Okay.
Then we can come up with a way that I was resuscitated.
Okay.
It's a joy to watch, and I think one of the things that's interesting to me is it's all about like a magician makes you believe in the illusion. And so I know it's a TV show, but you guys have me emotionally invested in what happens to Deborah Vance, and does this late night show work? And I hope this late night show works out. And currently things seem a little wobbly, but I'm emotionally invested in it, which means you're very good illusionists.
Well, thank you.
You know, you've created this world that I'm completely invested in.
Thank you. I mean, a lot of that credit goes to Gene and Hannah as well for making these characters so real. I feel that way too. I mean, I know we write the show, but they feel so real to all of us. And I think they do now to them as well. There's some scenes this season when I think both Gene and Hannah do some of their best work in the show, and we're like, God, that was good after. And they're like, I just said it because I feel, you know, I mean, now it's like so in their bones. They feel these characters are so real.
I think something Hannah does really well, just as an observer, is that she clearly wants a maternal figure. She wants a connection with this incredibly tough, Jean Smart character. She wants this so badly, but she also knows she has to be tough. And there's this great moment where, without giving anything away, but she gets a hug from Jean, and you see Hannah kind of melt a little bit because she's getting that connection that she really wants from not just her comedy hero, but also someone who she has a real connection with and cares about. And you see her soften a little bit, and then Jean Smart reveals that she's doing it just because there's a camera on them. Yeah. And that's why she's doing it. And she needs to make it look good for the camera. And you see the heartbreak. I mean, Hannah is killing it.
She is incredible. Yeah. She is incredible. And she does, like you're saying, so much, sometimes with no dialogue. You know, she's so funny and she's such a good stand-up herself. But yeah, she's so incredibly good. And it's hard, I think, to be that good. I mean, obviously your scene partner does a lot of the lifting and helps you out, but to do what she does with Jean is really incredible.
I don't know. I don't work with people that lift me up.
Oh.
Well, yeah, it's hard when you have to lift everyone up. I know it's hard.
Can I just say for a second, I feel like I'm an Olympic swimmer and I have 2 cinder blocks around my neck.
Oof. Okay, you are a jock.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you can do that.
We make you stronger.
You do? Oh, I see.
Yeah. We test you and make you stronger. You're welcome.
That's what you want.
Thank you.
And
we're actively trying to drown it.
It's called drag. It's called drag when you have cinder blocks as a swimmer. I was a swimmer, even though I wasn't a jock.
Oh, okay.
You need the drag every now and again.
You need a drag.
I do it, and I do need it. Your character, Jimmy, your relationship with Kayla, Megan Stalter, is... I will say this. I don't think I've seen that relationship on TV before. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Love that relationship.
It's a relationship.
That dynamic.
It's a dynamic that I've
and
I'm flipping through my comedy nerd mind trying to find the same thing, and I'm like, nope, I don't think it's there. I think that's a new thing you've cracked.
Thank you. I mean, you know,
she's over the top insane.
So insane. So insane.
And you are trying much more. I love that.
Yeah.
You and I have some experience with an insane assistant.
Oh my God.
But you know what I'm saying, Sona?
No, I don't know what you're saying. I'm nothing like her. I do, but I love how different. What the fuck are you looking at me like that?
I'm just looking. I'm just laughing. I'm listening.
We have hours of footage of you acting insane.
Oh, there's not enough footage of you being insane?
I'm the star. I'm expected to be insane.
At least Paul's character is like a normal person.
He's a normal boss.
Yeah.
I love how
insane.
patient you are. I love how patient you are. Your character is, Jimmy is with Kayla. It's and that's some of the comedy is to an absurd degree. And it reminds me a little bit of one of the things that makes Groucho so funny is Margaret Dumont. Because Margaret Dumont, he's acting insane. And she's next to him going like, Groucho. And then, well, anyway, let's move forward. When anyone else would say, I'm getting the fuck away from this person. But what makes it work is you can't, the whole dynamic of yes and is you are sticking with Kayla, with Megan Stalter. You're going to stick with her, and she's going to have awful ideas with great confidence.
Yes. Yeah, she's somebody who, Megan is so funny and so good in everything she does. But when we this is one character we kind of ripped from real life. This is based on a couple of assistants that people that we've worked with have had and that we've experienced.
Right.
Sometimes who are nepo and have entitlement, but also a little bit of insecurity. Like having this extreme confidence and yet nerves is a really funny dynamic. And that is a duality that Meg plays in some of her original characters. So we were like, she would be great for this. And yeah, we thought it was really funny to have somebody who is, in the beginning at least, both his assistant and his boss, kind of, because her dad owns the management firm that they work for.
And now your initial problem is, how do I get rid of this assistant? And now you're partners in this season. I love that you just keep turning up the dial on. And what's also great is occasionally she has a good idea.
Yeah, that's the thing. I do think that's true in the entertainment business and in management. You have to sometimes think outside the box and be insane. And Jimmy is not insane. He's very by the book. He's very earnest. And sometimes those crazy ideas actually work. So weirdly, she is a better manager than she is assistant. She's terrible at being an assistant, but she has some out of the box ideas that, especially this season, that really do work.